Every single day, there's a war happening inside your head. Not outside, not with your boss, your parents, or the world. No, it's you versus you. That voice inside, the one that whispers you're not enough, that doubts your every move, that turns every small setback into a mountain of shame. That voice has been your greatest enemy for years, and yet you keep feeding it. The Bible says in Proverbs 23:7, "As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he." Think about that. Whatever you believe, that's who you become. If you keep telling yourself you're weak, broken, or unlucky, don't be surprised when your life starts matching that story. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." But most people never do. They hand that power away every single day, to fear, to anger, to other people's opinions. So let me ask you, who's really in control up there? You, or that voice that keeps lying to you? Because here's the truth. Until you learn to master that inner battlefield, you'll always live like a prisoner, trapped inside your own mind. But if you stay with me for the next few minutes, I'll show you how to build a mind so strong, so unshakable, that every doubt, every fear, every insult just bounces off. This isn't a pep talk, it's mental armor. So if you're ready to stop being your own worst enemy, listen closely, because you need to hear this. You ever notice how your own mind can be crueler than anyone else's words? That quiet whisper that says, "You're not good enough. You'll mess it up again. Why even try?" It's funny, you'd never talk to someone you love that way, but you say it to yourself every single day, and over time, that voice, it becomes your truth. You stop chasing dreams. You stop fighting back. You settle, because that voice convinced you you're not built for more. The Bible says in John 10:10, "The thief comes only to steal, kill, and destroy." That thief isn't always out there. Sometimes it's in here. It steals your peace, kills your confidence, destroys your purpose. And here's the dangerous part. You've listened to that voice for so long. You started believing it's you, but it's not. It's fear. It's conditioning. It's the echo of people who doubted you, now living rent-free in your head. Marcus Aurelius said, "You become what you give your thoughts to." So tell me, what have you been feeding your mind lately? Hope or hatred? Growth or guilt? Faith or fear? Because that voice in your head, it's not just talking, it's shaping you. It's deciding your mood, your motivation, your destiny. And until you learn to silence it, it will keep running your life from the shadows. But here's the good news. Even the loudest lies lose power when you confront them. And that's exactly what we're going to do next. Because once you learn how to command your thoughts, no one, not the world, not your past, not your fear, can control you again. Here's the thing, most people don't realize. You can't always control what thoughts appear in your mind, but you can control which ones you listen to. That's the real battlefield, because the moment you start arguing with every dark thought, you give it power, and the more attention you give it, the louder it gets. Tell me, how many dreams have you killed just because you believed one negative thought? How many times have you stopped yourself from speaking up, showing up, or trying again because that voice whispered, "You'll fail"? The Bible says in Romans 12:2, "Be transformed by the renewing of your mind, not by luck, not by chance, by renewing, by replacing what's toxic with what's true." Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. And that reaction begins here, in the story you tell yourself. You see, your mind is like a stage. Every thought wants a spotlight. Fear, insecurity, shame. They're loud actors. But you're the director. You decide who gets the mic. So here's the brutal truth. If your inner dialogue is full of defeat, your life will follow that script. If it's full of strength, your life will rise to match it. You can't build a strong mind with weak language. You can't create peace while feeding chaos. So start asking yourself, who am I letting speak in my head today? Is it fear or faith? Doubt or discipline? Because once you take control of that conversation, you don't just silence doubt, you rewrite your reality. And next, I'll show you exactly how to do it. How to command your mind the way warriors, philosophers, and kings once did. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you did something that actually scared you? When was the last time you chose the hard road instead of the easy one? Most people think their enemy is fear, failure, or rejection. But that's not it. Your real enemy is comfort. Comfort is the silent killer of potential. It whispers, "You're fine where you are." It convinces you that resting is the same as growing. And before you know it, your fire's gone. The Bible says in Proverbs 6:10-11, "A little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest, and poverty will come upon you like a thief." That's not just about money. It's about the poverty of your spirit. Seneca once said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." And he was right, because the mind that seeks comfort never grows past its own fears. You want peace? Build resilience. You want confidence? Face discomfort. You want strength? Then stop running from what's hard. Every great man and woman you admire, they were forged in fire. Not cozy beds, not soft routines. They built strength through resistance. And yet here's the painful truth. You pray for strength, but avoid the very battles that could give it to you. You ask God for courage, but fear every risk that demands it. Remember James 1:2-4. Count it all joy when you face trials, because the testing of your faith produces perseverance. That's the formula. Pressure, perseverance, power. So ask yourself right now, have you gotten too comfortable? Are you really living, or just existing inside the same routine that's killing your spirit slowly? Because here's what most never realize. Comfort feels safe until it starts suffocating you. And once you break that comfort, you'll start to feel alive again. In a minute, we're going to go even deeper into the part no one wants to talk about, the pain that builds unshakable strength. And when you hear it, something inside you might just wake up. Be honest with yourself for a second. How many times have you said, "I'll do it tomorrow," and that tomorrow never came? How many dreams have died because you waited to feel ready? That's the trap. Your emotions will never feel ready. Discipline doesn't care how you feel. It only cares what you do. The Bible says in Proverbs 25:28, "A person without self-control is like a city with broken walls." Think about that. No discipline means no defense. Every distraction, every temptation, every mood walks right in and takes control. And here's what nobody wants to admit. Motivation is cheap. Discipline is rare. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. That's not philosophy, that's strategy. Because when you learn to act without emotion, you become unstoppable. You don't go to the gym because you feel like it. You go because you said you would. You don't chase your goals when you're inspired. You chase them because your word means something. Every time you choose discipline over mood, you send your mind a message. I'm in control now. And that voice, the one that whispers, "Not today," starts to lose its power. Jesus himself said in Luke 9:23, "If anyone would come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross daily." Daily. Not when it's easy, not when it feels good. Every single day. That's what strength really looks like. Not loud, not flashy, but quiet, relentless, and immovable. And maybe right now, you've been waiting for the perfect time to start. But deep down, you already know there isn't one. Because the difference between who you are and who you could be is what you do when you don't feel like it. So if you've been drifting, if you've been tired, lazy, or lost in your own excuses, remember this: your emotions are passengers. You're the driver. And the moment you take the wheel, you'll realize you never needed motivation. You just needed discipline. Because what's coming next is the part no one wants to face, the pain that builds unshakable focus. And when you understand it, your mind will never be the same again. Tell me something. When was the last time you sat in complete silence? No phone, no music, no notifications, just you and your thoughts. It's scary, isn't it? Because silence has a way of showing you who you really are. Most people can't handle that. They fill every quiet moment with noise, scrolling, texting, distracting themselves from the one conversation that actually matters, the one happening inside their own head. But listen to this. Psalm 46:10 says, "Be still and know that I am God." Be still, not rushed, not scattered, still, because in that stillness, you see truth, you hear clarity, and you find the strength to silence every doubt. The Stoic philosopher Seneca once said, "To be everywhere is to be nowhere." And that's what most people are, everywhere but present. They live in noise, drown in distraction, and wonder why they can't hear their purpose anymore. Focus is your weapon. Solitude is your sharpening stone. And when you learn to be alone without feeling lonely, you become dangerous. Because when the world is screaming, you'll be calm. When everyone else reacts, you'll think. When doubt tries to speak, it'll have no voice left to use. Even Jesus often withdrew to quiet places to pray. Not because he was weak, but because solitude renews strength. So ask yourself, when was the last time you recharged your soul instead of your phone? Because the longer you avoid the silence, the louder the noise inside you gets. But if you dare to face that silence, if you sit with your thoughts long enough to understand them, you'll find something most people never do. Peace that doesn't depend on chaos. And focus that can't be broken. And that's where everything changes. Because what's coming next isn't peace, it's fire. The kind that forges the mind into steel. You ever stop to think how much you take for granted? The roof above your head, the breath in your lungs, the fact that you woke up this morning and someone else didn't. We chase money, validation, recognition, but when you strip it all away, the real wealth is peace. Philippians 4:7 says, "And the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds." That's not just a verse, it's a mindset. Peace isn't weakness. Peace is armor. You see, gratitude doesn't just change how you feel, it changes how you see. When you start counting your blessings, Instead of your problems, the world stops feeling like it's against you. Marcus Aurelius once said, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to think, to enjoy, to love." That's real power. Not the kind that screams, but the kind that stays calm when everything's on fire. Because here's the harsh truth. You can't build a strong mind if you're always focused on what's missing. Gratitude shifts your focus from lack to abundance, from pain to purpose. And when your heart is grounded in peace, the chaos around you loses its grip. The Stoics called it amor fati, love your fate, even the bad parts, because everything, the pain, the delay, the loss, is carving you into something stronger than before. So, what are you grateful for right now? Not tomorrow, not when things get easier, now. Because when gratitude becomes your foundation, nothing can shake your peace. And when you live from peace, not pressure, that's when you become unstoppable. And what comes next will remind you exactly why pain was necessary. Let me ask you something. What would your life look like if nothing could shake you? Not betrayal, not failure, not even your own fear. Most people crumble when life gets hard, but not you, not anymore. Because now, you understand what true strength is. It's not pretending to be unbreakable. It's learning how to rebuild every single time you fall. James 1:12 says, "Blessed is the one who perseveres under trial, because having stood the test, that person will receive the crown of life." You hear that? Not blessed are the comfortable, not blessed are the lucky. Blessed are the ones who endure. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." And that's what an unshakable mind really is. Self-mastery. Not control over the world, but control over how you respond to it. Because life will still hit you. People will still lie, still leave, still let you down. But when your mind is built on truth, when your soul stands rooted in peace, the storm stops feeling like chaos and starts feeling like a test. This is what it means to be mentally unbreakable, to stand tall in pain, to move forward when your legs shake, to keep your faith when nothing makes sense. Ask yourself, when life throws its worst at you, will you collapse or will you look it dead in the eye and say, "This won't destroy me, this will define me"? That's the mind we're building here. A mind that doesn't chase comfort. A mind that doesn't break at rejection. A mind that chooses purpose over pain. Because once you master your thoughts, you master your emotions. And once you master your emotions, you master your life. That's when doubt falls silent and peace takes over. Let me ask you one last thing. When your mind starts to doubt again, when the world gets heavy, will you remember this moment? Will you remember what you're capable of, what you've survived? Because this isn't just about motivation. This is a mission. To build a generation of minds that don't break when life gets dark, but rise when others fall. Romans 12:2 says, "Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind." That's your call, right there, not to blend in, but to become something greater. And like Viktor Frankl once said, when we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. So maybe this is your challenge, to stop running from your mind and start mastering it, to stop doubting your strength and start proving it. Because if you're still here, still listening, it means something inside you refuses to quit. It means you're ready. Welcome to the mission. The mission to build a mind so strong, it silences every doubt.